Good morning, everyone. My name is Haikal Cooper. It's pronounced like Michael with an H, so that's why it's Haikal. This is my portfolio critique, and I hope you all enjoy it today. So, a little bit about myself. Who am I? I am a double major in creative technologies and mathematics. I'm also a gay opportunity scholar, so a little bit about that scholarship. It's a work and merit-based scholarship where we essentially work year round, and they take about 80% off of our paychecks. But through that, we're able to graduate debt-free from Barry. So with that, in that itself, I've had 7 jobs here during my time at Barry. And through those jobs, something that I really appreciated is the relationships that I developed and experiences I got from it, and just interacting with different people from different fields. So I'm just really passionate about developing relationships among different people and among my peers, especially. So through that, my theme for today is, and a little bit, and through that, so what I noticed about creative tech, I didn't come as a creative major. I didn't join until my junior year at Barry. But I saw that there were just always people here at Hackberry at night, and what I thought was weird because there's a range of people like crying, to a range of people happy, to singing and laughing. And this is an interesting thing that I kind of want to be a part of. So that's kind of why. But job doing through creative tech programs is like the different people here, like just explore and be part of that environment. So my theme for my creative tech experience is designing for engagement through programming and 3D design for gaming and musical entertainment products. So what does that mean? So earlier you heard me talk about I love engaging or developing relationships between people, and through that, through programming, so learning computer languages such as Python, Arduino processing, and 3D design such as Fusion 360, I've been able to develop products specifically within the gaming and musical fields to just have people be entertained to see those happy smiling faces. So my first project that I'm going to talk about today is called PBS Go, which is done across introduction to prototyping, introduction to creative computing, and physical computing embedded systems. So pickleball is the fastest growing sport in America right now, and it didn't get introduced to Barry until about 2 or 3 years ago, during COVID time actually, and it just quickly became a fast growing sport here at Barry. But there's only 4 courts here, and there's 2,000 students, and then that's not including the faculty and staff, as well as the outside community that comes here to play pickleball here at Barry. And so me and my partner, her name's Jessica Herring, she's the current junior here. We noticed that there's a problem of people wanting to play pickleball, but if it rains and you can't play pickleball, you have to go play racquetball, which I'm not a big fan of. And then also with 4 courts, there's a lack of availability, so you also have to wait outside. Maybe you have to go to the tennis courts and play tennis, but that's maybe not as good fun for other people as well. So the goal for this project was to create a simulator to allow people to play pickleball despite the weather lack of availability, or lack of available courts. So it's a pickleball simulator that allows 2 users to play simultaneously against each other, or for one user to play against a computer. These are some of the skills that I learned in this project: Arduino processing, PCB design, laser cutting, 3D design. So talk a little bit about more of these skills. PCB design was done for the remotes. So essentially, think of it like a Wii Sport remote. And in it, you have the PCB that's inside with different microcontrollers like the joystick and a vibration motor and accelerometer. Inside of it is enclosed with a 3D model that was designed in Fusion 360. And then to create the resemblance of a pickleball paddle, we laser cutted this paddle head. That's kind of the average size for a standard pickleball paddle. And then within that, we programmed a game inside processing, and then we handshake using processing and Arduino for the remote to be capable with the simulator. So essentially how it works is that if you have the paddle in your hand, you're essentially just smacking the ball, the virtual ball, and then that just goes back and forth between each user. So some takeaways that I got from this game is that I got a strong foundation in coding. This was done in my first semester of creative technologies. So that kind of piqued my interest of okay, I know there's different aspects you can explore technologies, but I knew that this is one I want to explore more: software. Also overcoming failure. Um, Up to the night before it was due, one of our pals stopped working. So just understanding, okay, what tools in the labs can we use? So for example, we found out that one of our PCBs stopped working on our paddles, and we're like, okay, how does this work? Thankfully, we remember tools from CSC 235, and then we used a multimeter to detect electricity. And through that, we found out that one of our Arduinos had actually blown out. So that was just one way of how we overcame failure throughout this project. We also learned a lot of time management skills. So between me and my partner, we put in 80 hours of work for this project, and we also had to balance other courses as well in our other majors. So just figuring out how do we develop this project really good, but also how do we make sure that we're not failing other classes as well. So the next project is Mixie, that was done in advanced prototyping, which is now called interactive product design. So with Mixie, so oftentimes in high school, I was often called like the human Spotify. If you would play a song, I could just automatically know what song that is. And I always wanted to explore and perform this like explore and perform DJ skills to perform an audience really, because I love seeing people be engaged in dance and fun, having fun at parties. And thankfully through CRT 360, you have the opportunity to create Mixie, which is a custom MIDI controller that allows the user to perform musical sets. So what does that mean? Basically, this is our DJ board, and through all these buttons and different potentiometers and sliders, we're able to just program up the music and sound ourselves, and we're just able to have fun with it. And so through this experience, I use Arduino, PCB design, 3D design, and software called Audio Tool. So a little bit about that. This is the PCB that was made for the project. And as you can see there, we have the eight buttons, 3 rotary potentiometers, and a sliding potentiometer, as well as the microcontroller right here. In this, when once we made the PCB, we created an enclosure in Fusion 360 where the PCB was placed inside of the enclosure. And then after that, I laser cut the enclosure out and it was made. And yeah. And then through this, I developed an alter ego called Haikal the Mic. And this is something I would never expect that would happen when I came into Bay Area as a freshman. But through this, it's allowed me to create an inclusive environment on campus. So through that, I've performed at venues such as Rayberry, which is the first one that happened here, and probably one of my most favorite events here at Bay Area College as a whole. And then just through that, I've explored venues such as the Blog Party here on campus and KCB Halloween Bash. I've done a few weddings off campus as well. And then tonight I'll be performing at Finals Fest, which will be one of my last times performing as a student. Oh no, my last time performing as a student at 7 p.m. So if y'all interested, feel free to come out next to the Moon and Laughlin Lawn. But also something about this project really that I personally love is that this is a light bulb moment for me in making entertainment products. So just from being here on the stage and then just seeing the bunch of people underneath Event Horizon and just seeing everyone jump up and down, that was inspiring to me because I just saw I can make products that just makes people engaged and entertained, and I just really love that. So then going off of Mixie, the next project we're talking about today is called Flappy Bird, which is on a CRT 420, aka Chris's Python class. So what is this? Well, I don't know if y'all remember the game Flappy Bird, but Flappy Bird is a popular mobile game where if you just touch on your screen, you have a bird that's flying through these pipes. So then if you just like touch the screen, the bird just goes up, but then you're not touching it falling down. So you're trying to let the bird go in between all these different pipes. And I just remember that childhood nostalgia of playing that game and how competitive it was between people. But unfortunately got taken away from the App Store for many different reasons. But the purpose of this is that I want to create a fun and competitive game for users and to bring that nostalgia back from playing that game back in high school and middle school. So Flappy Bird is a video game revamp of Flappy Bird, but the twist is that the user is controlling the bird by arc movement. So this is coded in Python using computer vision and OpenCV library. And basically how this game works is that you start off with your hands up, and then if you flap your arms up and down, that counts as the bird going up one. So then the more you flap up, completing that cycle, it goes up, and then if you just leave your arms up and you don't move that cycle, it just keeps going down. So how does this game work? Well, you see this map here. This is the map that uses the OpenCV library. And using these points 11 and 13 and 12 and 14, that the computer specifically focuses on those specific points so that when your arms are raised up, it notices that, okay, I'm not even through the full cycle yet. But then when 13 is below 11, then you're like, okay, he's halfway down the cycle, but then it goes back up within a few seconds. That cycle's complete, go up one. So then This is the video game screen of the bird, and this is a home screen of it to explain the directions of flapping your arms up and down. And so what did I get out of this project? Lots of user testing because what was great about it is that, well, for me at first is that when I first started, I was like, okay, like this game works perfectly for me. Like I'm easily controlling the bird. Then I started giving it to other people. I'm like, why is it not working well? I'm like, okay, Ryan's like a whole foot taller than me, and then you have other people who are shorter than me, and then longer arm spans, and etc. So there's a lots of user testing and lots of research. Also, one of the purposes of Chris's Python classes, how do you Google and research problems, specifically coding problems, and that just explored a new horizon to me of like, okay, how do I think of this and ask this in a way to ask explicit questions in Google so I can get the answer that I need specifically. And unfortunately, this is before ChatGPT was done. But I know that research and that thinking method will be applied using ChatGPT in the future if I so need to. And so next up is to talk about my capstone project, the Berry B, which is 3D berry themed art, which is mainly done for the class of CRT 499, but it was done across different classes such as hackathon, innovation and commercialization, as well as introduction to entrepreneurship. So something that I noticed is that there's a lack of variety within the berry shipyard or berry products in general. I noticed that there wasn't really wood memorabilia or wood decor within the berry community, but the only time you see that is through the Mountain Day market and the spring market, which I thought that shouldn't be right. I think to invite for a more inclusive diverse variety of products, it should be readily available. So I decided to provide a wood memorabilia that is for the berry college community specifically. So the Berry B is a multi-layer wood decor piece that captures unique features of berry college natural landscape. So this was done using designing the layers in Inkscape, and then I laser cutted them all out. So what exactly is the Berry B? So this was done in CRT 300 or Hackathon. I made this design, and I was like, okay, this is great, but I cannot stand it up on its own. I don't think it should be necessarily laying down flat. So then the next hackathon, I created this Berry B, which is now what is used primarily today. And as you can see here, there's features such as the mountains in the back, the trees in the front, the eagle flying over the mountains and the grass. You have the deer, as well as the bikes and people everywhere, as you might see on those shirts. And this is people going crazy as well, which is a common activity on here at Berry. And then through the CRT 499 class, I decided to make a different design, slightly different, where I use a wood stain, and then I also create smaller versions for people who may not want to take up as much space. So here are I wonder if I can move this. So here are my sales from the end of, or how I did this semester specifically. So as you can see within sales, I made over $2,000. And with pitch blending, I made close to $4,000. And from selling 58 products, I got about close to $6,000 throughout the entire semester for this enterprise. And through this enterprise, I was able to sell at the spring market. And I was also able to achieve that goal of having wood products readily available at the shipyard. So as you see, the shipyard bought the products from me at a wholesale price here. And they have 10 products out. And the hope and intention is that this can continue going. So that's why I did some pitch funding to raise up money to buy a laser cutter myself and hopefully not just be memorabilia, but also different memorabilia for different experiences as well. So some takeaways I got from this project is the life of a startup. So as you heard earlier, I'm taking introduction to entrepreneurship as well. So I learned how to develop a business plan for this project specifically, which is very helpful in terms of I see this going at a large scale rate. I also learned a lot of operations management for this project. So you also heard that I took innovation and commercialization. So Dr. Grant was really helpful and pushed me back on why are you wood gluing this? You're wasting time. If you nail it, you just use a nail gun, you're gonna save so much time, which actually is very true. So just that type of thinking was really helpful, just me making more beats faster and saving time for myself as well. Thank you. And what's next for me? So I actually have just recently accepted a position at GHD as a scientist. So what is GHD? It's a global engineering consultant firm that is committed in solving challenges in the areas of water, energy, and urbanization. Urbanization meaning what is the impact of urbanization, and how can we do it in an eco-friendly way? So starting off, I'll specifically be in the water field, and I'll be helping bridging the gap between the engineering and technology sectors within GHD. So how do we use data analytics to see if how efficient we're being in our work process? How do we use software development, hardware development, such as implementation? So a lot of the skills I learned from Chris Python class, as well as CRC 360, to make products better, and how we could track how our efficiencies are and how we could be better with our clients. So like I said, I'll be working in the water field, and one way I'll be doing that is a problem that you saw earlier this semester is that all the pipes bursted or they froze throughout the winter break. So one task that they want me to start working on is how can we prevent that at an early rate, and then like, okay, it's going to freeze overnight. How can we make the water temperature adjust, or the pipe temperature adjust, etc. Of like making sure that the pipes don't bust, and not you don't have to people don't have to spend thousands of dollars on fixing it and replacing it at such a high rate. So that's my plans after graduation. And yes, if you have any questions, please let me know.